Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is the 101st video that I've posted on my wonderful channel over the past 2 years. And the reason why I'm making a point of it being the 101st video I'm posting on my channel is because the 100th video that I posted on my channel got almost nobody watching it. I must admit, doing a saag paneer recipe is a bit of a labour of love. It's a 2-hour recipe and probably not for everybody. But 32 views. Way! Yeah, it was great. Anyway, let's see if I can get 33 views of this one. Something a little bit more normal, something a little bit more that people might want to do. It's a marinara sauce. And if you don't know what a marinara sauce is, it's essentially the Italian base to almost all of the pastas. If you put meat in it, you can call it a ragu, but on its own, the tomato sauce with the garlics and wine and herbs and stuff like that is just called a marinara sauce or a marinara sauce if you're from that side of the pond. Again, it's a bit of a labour of love. It's a 2-hour dish, but this is one where if you make a nice big batch of it, you can put it into bags or tubs and put it in the freezer for simple tomato pasta dishes for the future. You can add meat to it. I had a little butter, a little bit of anchovies, and a little bit of parmesan, and I cooked some that night with some pasta, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, yeah, marinara sauce, a labour of love, but well worth doing. Off we go. Hello, welcome back to the Board of Goodness. Ba, ba, ba. What have we got today? 2 medium-sized onions, about 12 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of crushed chilies. Although I'm going to use this Knorr chili pot to see if it works. But anyway, if you haven't got it, 2 teaspoons of crushed chilies, 4 tablespoons of mixed herbs, particularly Italian herbs, 1.5 tablespoons of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper, 8 cans of tomatoes. I'm using chopped tomatoes and just peeled tomatoes. Sometimes these non-chopped versions are better quality than the chopped versions, so we'll see how this goes. It'll all go down into the sauce anyway, so it doesn't really matter. A small bottle of red wine, 187ml, standard small bottle of red wine. 2 small packets of fresh parsley and fresh basil, about 13 grams each. This is definitely a 13 gram pack. Do roughly the same of basil, even though my basil packet is a bit bigger. Do about 13 grams. And a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I think that's about it. I'm going to do it in my trusty Le Creuset, and it's going to take about 2 hours. So let's get on with it. So off we go. Olive oil in the big pot. Now, the onions, rather than chopping them up this time, I've used a small blender, so it's chopped them right down to almost a pulp. Works in this dish. Tell you what it also works in is some shorter curries. So rather than chopping onions and frying onions and garlic, get it right down to a pulp. Makes curries a bit shorter. This is a very, very long dish, so it doesn't make much shorter. All this does is means you don't have to start fishing around for large pieces of onion. So I'm going to fry this for about 5 minutes. I've also done the same with the herbs, the garlic, the sugar, the pepper, a little bit of salt, half a teaspoon of salt, and yeah, that's going to go in. Same thing, my little blender, just purees them down. And in a minute I'll be putting in that stock pot. So you would be putting in chili flakes now. I'm going to put this in a minute or so. So, fry for about 5 minutes. So about 5 minutes in my little blender there were still some bits of onions and stuff left. So I popped a bit of water in there, which also will help us not burn. And I'm going to go in with my stock pot of chili. So this is going to be interesting. I've not tried this before. So another 5 minutes. That's about right. So the next stage is to sacrifice 2 tins of tomatoes to the sauce. These are going to cook first. Don't waste anything from the tin. Add a little water. Right, I'm going to cook these. Now, some of you might be asking why I've just popped the whole tomato straight in there, when if you look at Mama used to make videos, you'll see them straining them in. You're absolutely right. I do not have a sieve that is useful for that kind of thing. So I'm going to use my hand blender a little bit later and blend those up. And then the little bits of stalks at the end, I'll just fish those out. So there's an explanation for why I'm not doing the sieve and things. It's because I haven't got one. Right, 10 minutes. So there's the 10 minutes. We sacrificed those 2 tins of tomatoes right at the beginning so that the herbs and the onions can infuse a little more. Helps them cook a little better. Now it's starting to look really good. It's of an early taste, a very early taste. Yeah. Taste the herbs, taste the chilies. Garlic, definitely. Oh, right. Next stage, bottle of wine in there. Small bottle of wine, that is, not a big one. My teaspoon or so of Worcestershire sauce, and the rest of my tomatoes. Does feel like a lot of tomatoes, doesn't it? But this will reduce down quite a lot. I mean, essentially, I've probably said this at the start of the video, this is 2 meals worth of marinara sauce. Because if you're going to make a marinara sauce, you're not going to do 2 hours for just 1 meal. You're going to make it for a couple of meals, and then you'll put a big pot of it in the freezer, ready for next time. So, this is now going to bubble in the corner of my stove on my little burner for 2 hours. You're going to be wanting to check it every 10 minutes just in case, and you're also going to put the lid mainly on because you want some of the moisture to escape out, but mainly on because this will go all over the place and you'll have tomatoes in your ears, in your cooker sockets, in the sink and everything. So 2 hours, lid half on, 3/4 on. Check every 10 minutes. Off we go. So here we are, where are we, about 1 hour and 50 minutes. It's reduced by about 2 inches so far. I put the stick blender in for a few seconds to get rid of the bigger lumps, and the end of the plum tomatoes, the stalks, I fished those out. So that's been the basis of the last 1 hour and 3/4 or so far, is stirring it to make sure it doesn't burn, lid on so that the juices don't go everywhere. And you can see how much of the juices are there, so you definitely need the lid on, or lid 3/4 on. Right, for the last 15-20 minutes, roughly chopped basil and roughly chopped parsley, and that's going to go to the finish line. Right, 15-20 minutes, and that, my friends, is that 2 hours reduced down really well. The herbs have had a chance to do their goodness, do their magic. Let's have a wee taste. Oh my word, yes. I'm going to add a tiny little bit more black pepper in my black pepper shaker that doesn't seem to be working very well, and the merest sprinkle of salt. I think that's going to be done. Why do it this way? Why bother doing 2 hours to get a tomato sauce? Because tomato sauces are regularly on supermarket shelves. Well, taste it. The difference is depth and richness, and there's no additives. Oh, that's perfect. So I'm going to put at least half of that in the freezer for future reference, and half of that is going to be mixed with some anchovies and some pasta, and I'll have that as a simple anchovy marinara sauce. It's brilliant, it's gorgeous, it's well worth the time it takes. So there's no finish off picture in a dish or whatever. That's it, that's the finished thing. Do with it what you will. It's gorgeous, it's well worth it. Take care, bye bye.